mogul Sean Diddy Combs. Major new allegations today of sexual assault and exploitation by Combs. For the first time, we are hearing about victims who say they were minors when they were allegedly assaulted by the music star.
Well, Diddy has completely screwed up the first impressions part of checking into a new prison because he is in trouble yet again.
Picture this, it's 2024. Sean Diddy Combs, a man who once commanded boardrooms and dominated airwaves, is now inmate number 03113-054 at FCI Fort Dix. The world is watching, his team is spinning, and the federal government is taking notes. But behind these minimum security walls, a different kind of operation was being run, an operation of privilege, of secret calls, and a desperate attempt to maintain control. We were told he was a changed man, humbled, sober, but then the documents leaked. CBS News obtains exclusive prison records, and what they reveal isn't a story of rehabilitation. It's a blueprint of deception.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you gotta do that. I was up. I mean, I hit rock bottom.
So there have been stories out this morning that this three-way call had to do with Diddy being upset about something with the New York Times or wanted to somehow get in touch with the New York Times. Wanted to give them a statement. And that he had a publicist or somebody on one and somebody else.
A web of lies so brazen, it risks dismantling everything he has left. This isn't just about a rule break. This is about a pattern, a mentality, and it might be the very thing that ensures he never sees the outside of a prison cell again. Welcome back to Behind the Fame. Strap in. Let's rewind to the incident that started it all, the three-way call. Now, for most of us, a three-way call is just a convenience. For a federal inmate, it's a major violation. The Bureau of Prisons lets you call people, you just have to give them a list. They monitor everything. So the question becomes, why? Why would you need to sneak a call? Who are you talking to that you don't want the feds to know about? According to the official documents, Diddy got caught, red-handed. And when he was confronted, the lies began to flow. His story? He was on the phone with a female lawyer and a, quote, digital guy. The purpose? To issue a statement to the New York Times. Seems plausible, right? Almost professional.
This is all starting to dovetail that this three-way call didn't have to do with a New York Times piece and wanting to put a comment in.
It was probably about bringing money, because I do know something else, by the way, that, this is interesting, that two of the baby mamas were visiting Diddy, and that when we published the story, which we're going to talk about in a minute, that he had been cited for drinking alcohol.
But then the prison officials did their job. They investigated and they reached out to the New York Times. And the response from the paper of record was essentially, who? Diddy? We have no idea what he's talking about. Boom, lie number one, exposed. But it gets deeper. The woman on the phone? He claimed it was his legal counsel. Protected by attorney-client privilege, right? Wrong. The Bureau of Prisons isn't playing that game. Once you use your lawyer to break prison rules, that privilege shield cracks. So who was it really? His team is now scrambling, calling it a purely personal call with family members. So which is it? A legal call or a personal one? He can't have it both ways. This inconsistency isn't a minor detail. It's the sound of a story collapsing under its own weight.
The Bureau of Prisons has moved his expected release date from May 8th, 2028 to June 4th, 2028. And these calculations are based on what good behavior credits that you have, and those will move as you have infractions. He's only been there since October 30th, but he apparently has this alcohol issue potentially and this three-way call.
So let's talk about the alcohol issue for a minute, because when we published the story on Friday, we got this information from people who are connected to Diddy right now.
And the punishment? The prison recommended he lose 90 days of phone privileges, 90 days of commissary, a real blow to someone used to calling the shots. But that was just the appetizer, because buried in those same documents was the real bombshell, the why. What was so important that he risked his privileges, his standing, his entire fragile situation for? He instructed the woman on the phone, to bring him a bag full of cash in singles. Let that sink in. A bag of cash in a federal prison on visiting day. This isn't about buying a few extra Snickers from the commissary people. This is the currency of the underground. This is how you pay for favors. This is how you pay for contraband. This is how you paid for freak-offs on the outside, and the rumors are swirling that he was trying to set up the same system on the inside. The Bureau of Prisons has one rule for visits. You can pass coins, not a duffel bag of dollar bills. This was a brazen, arrogant attempt to smuggle the one thing that could buy him influence behind bars: liquid cash.
So how did this whole white party come about all these years?
Oh man, it was like maybe over a decade ago. So I moved to a new neighborhood and they were like, well, what's this guy doing moving here in East Hamptons? And and he has this estate on the water, what's going on?
And it tells us one thing with terrifying clarity: Sean Combs wasn't adapting to prison life. He was trying to own it. And that leads us to the million-dollar question: who was on the inside helping him? What guard was on his payroll? What little empire had he already started to build? Because you don't just smuggle a bag of cash into a federal facility without a plan, without help. And now, you better believe the feds are asking the exact same questions. Every person he's interacted with, every guard who looked the other way, is now under a microscope. The house of cards he was building is about to get a hurricane force audit. But wait, it gets worse. All right, fam, we are deep in the weeds on this one, and I need to know what you're thinking. Is Diddy orchestrating from the inside, or is he a desperate man making desperate mistakes? Drop your theories in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you're just joining us, you do not want to miss what comes next. Hit that subscribe button and slam the bell icon, because we are just getting to the explosive part. So Diddy's spokespeople go into overdrive. They put out a statement trying to dismiss the three-way call as personal, trying to downplay the cash request. It's all spin, baby, spin. But then TMZ enters the chat. And they don't just enter, they come with a flamethrower. Remember that story from a little while back about Diddy being caught drinking homemade alcohol, aka Hooch, or prison wine?
Talk about the alcohol issue for a minute, because when we published the story on Friday, we got this information from people who are connected to Diddy right now.
Right.
Okay, right now. And we confirmed with somebody on the outside who has a direct connection to Diddy that it involved substances.
His team denied it flat out, called it lies. Well, at 10:51 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, TMZ dropped a nuclear bomb of a clapback. Their headline: "Our story about Diddy drinking Hooch is 100% true. 100%. They didn't just double down, they tripled down. And their sources, not just prison insiders, they claim they have sources in his own camp, sources close to his family. Think about the significance of that. His own people are talking. The walls are closing in. The money that might have once kept TMZ favorable has clearly dried up, and now it's more profitable for them to expose him than to protect him. This is a seismic shift. So let's connect the dots. The illegal three-way call, the request for a bag of cash, and now multiple verified sources confirming he was caught drinking contraband alcohol. This paints a picture that is the polar opposite of the changed man narrative. This is the picture of a man who believes the rules do not apply to him. A man who is trying to recreate his kingdom of privilege inside a federal correctional facility, and every single one of these infractions is being documented. Every lie is being recorded. And here's the most telling part of all: the silence. The lawyers who were so vocal before, Nicole Westmoreland, Tenny Garros, Alexandra Shapiro, the ones who were putting out statements every time he took a breath, they have gone radio silent. Why? Because a lawyer can zealously defend their client, but a lawyer cannot ethically propagate a known lie to the public. Their silence is a deafening admission. They know the facts in those prison documents are unassailable. They know that TMZ's sources are rock solid. To speak now would be to risk their own law licenses.
We're told now by multiple people 100% true on the alcohol front, which kind of makes sense. Now they're saying he's committed to sobriety and everything else.
That would be the response you would
That's
give
right.
without
That's
admitting that he had the alcohol.
That's right.
So the press releases are being handled by spokespeople, professional liars, whose only job is to create enough dust to cloud the truth, but the truth has already been documented by the United States Bureau of Prisons. So where does this leave us? Let's break down the fallout. The internal investigation. The feds now have a clear roadmap of Diddy's attempted operations. The cash request alone will trigger a deep internal investigation into corruption at Fort Dix. His entire network inside is about to be identified and dismantled. The privileges. He's likely already lost his phone and commissary. But this is just the start. Every subsequent infraction will be met with harsher penalties. Solitary confinement, transfer to a higher security facility. The cushy minimum security existence is hanging by a thread. The bigger picture, this isn't happening in a vacuum. This is the same man facing a mountain of federal lawsuits and a potential RICO indictment every time he lies to a prison official. It demonstrates a consciousness of guilt. It demonstrates a pattern of behavior that prosecutors will absolutely use against him. They will argue this is who he is, a man who operates above the law, a man who cannot be trusted. The changed man is a fiction. The man in those documents, the one making illegal calls, asking for smuggled cash, drinking hooch, and lying when he gets caught, that's the real Sean Combs. And the federal government now has a front row seat to the show. I want to hear from you. After seeing the evidence, the lies, the cover-ups, do you think this is a man who is truly facing consequences, or one who is still trying to play the system? The comment section is live. Let me know your take. This story is evolving by the minute. Final summary. Host, back in seat, direct to camera. We started this story with a simple question. What happens when a kingpin enters the kingdom of the feds? The answer is becoming painfully clear. The illusion of control shatters. The lies get documented. And the allies start to talk. The three-way call was the spark. The bag of cash was the fuel. And TMZ's 100% confirmation of the hooch was the explosion. This isn't just a fall from grace. This is a systemic dismantling of a persona played out in real time through prison documents and leaked sources. Diddy thought he could control the narrative from behind bars. He thought his money and influence could build a wall. But that wall has crumbled. And on the other side stands the truth, the Bureau of Prisons, and a public that is no longer buying the lie. The ball is no longer in his corner. It's in the hands of the federal government, and they are just getting started. This has been Behind the Fame. I want you to tell me what you want to see next. Should we do a deep dive into the specific prison rules he broke and the real-world consequences? Or an investigation into the history of TMZ's relationship with Diddy? Let me know your topic request in the comments. Until next time, stay curious.